Welcome back to my channel, Scale Model Kit Review Studio, and welcome back to another FanHome Build the Enterprise D. That's right, this is from Star Trek, The Next Generation. This is the largest metal and plastic Enterprise kit out there. Do not pass it up. Head over to FanHome today and subscribe to this build. I put a direct link in the description below, right here, and also above. Let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome back to Scale Model Kit Review Studio, and welcome back to another fantastic installment of the Star Trek The Next Generation Build the U.S.S Enterprise D. I am on pack 21 or issue 21 for this build, and if you've been following my channel all along, you know I've been trying to point out and show you the best methods for assembling this one-of-a-kind spaceship that's available from FanHome. If you're able to, head over to FanHome and see if it's available for you to sign up for. I highly recommend it. You do not want to pass this up. I passed up for it when it first came out a couple years ago, and I wish I hadn't. And now, you know, I'm finally getting to build it myself. So as always, this magazine is an episode guide along with how to build all the stages that we're going to be going through here. So 4 more stages here in this video, stage 79 through 82. And we'll go through those individually as we go through in this video. Alright, so like I said, episode guides here. Building bridges, Star Trek The Next Generation Season 5 begins here. So they have an article on that. And Season 5, Episode 1, Redemption 2. And that came out September 23, 1991. What were you doing in 1991? Well, for me, I was just returning to the United States from Germany. And I spent 4 years in Frankfurt, Germany area, at an Air Force base that is no longer open there called Rhein-Main Air Base. And actually, I was returned from Desert Shield, or the Gulf War, where we battled the evil Saddam Hussein. And so yeah, I just came back from the desert and moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, Kirtland Air Force Base, and it was a great assignment. I really liked that base. I really liked the work there. So, moving on. Episode 2 for Season 5, Darmok, and very cool there. Episode 3 for Season 5, Ensign Row. Season 5, Episode 4, Silicon Avatar. Season 5, Episode 5, Disaster. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the parts that came with this pack. Stage 79, more hull plating and some windows here, some LED lights. Stage 80, some parts for the engineering hull, some windows there. Stage 81, more of the saucer section, framing there. And lastly, Stage 82, more hull plating and some windows. Let's get started. Here are the parts for Stage 79 that we received. Everything listed here for you. And the assembly instructions for 79. And like always, I'm not going to take you through step by step on what I'm doing. I'll show you the outcomes. We already know how most of this has already been done in my videos. If you don't know, you can step back a few videos in this series, in this playlist, and see how I do this. Install that part onto the hull there, the saucer section. And I'm going to leave that out. Those will go in last in case I have to disassemble for any reason. So there you go. Work on the engineering hull there, the battle section. Put some windows in. LEDs. Get routed here with some screws. Going to put the LED onto the PCB board. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. Here's a close-up of those parts. And I show you this to kind of like a historical thing so you know what the parts look like in each pack that you received, every stage. AM, DP, IM, FM, and BP screws. We have some escape patch covers, the edge of the saucer, blackouts for the escape patch covers, the little cover itself, and a window reflector for the battle bridge or the battle section, and then one set of LEDs here. Alright, so this deck panel was assembled, and I put a blackout panel on the back that holds it in place. 2 AM screws there. Used a little bit of oil on the screws, doesn't hurt. And then we have this little cover panel to cover up the screw hole once it's installed on the saucer. We'll go ahead and install the edge piece next. Okay, the edge piece was installed for the saucer, and 2 IM screws were used for that. Just make sure it's flush on the edge there. Looks good. Now we'll go ahead and mount this to the saucer. Alright, I brought over the saucer section here. We are working on the underside here. We're going to continue on the under right hand side, and of course this panel here is going to fit right in. You can see there's a notch for that tab that sticks out, and it's simply going to make sure you get it overlapped on the top part of the saucer when you slide it in place. That looks good there. And we'll go ahead and put the FM screws into here and right there. And that looks good there. And like I said, I'm just going to put this cover panel away for now, and we'll install those at the end of the build. Also check the other side, make sure it's overlapped the top of the saucer. And it is. Looks good. And I just keep all those covers for safekeeping right here in this little pill box so I don't lose them. Now let's go ahead and work on the battle section front panel. Go ahead and add the reflector to the panel that we already assembled in the previous pack. And I taped them down as usual. And of course this is going to go down right on top where the windows are. And we'll be installing BP screws into that. Alright, so I retrieved the battle section frames that we last assembled in stage 63, and that's this right here. I just want to point out a couple things with you on this, and this is something I do all along with all my builds, just to protect the electronic circuitry a bit. So the PCB board that I mounted here with our screws, if you look on the back side, it actually had the contacts were bare contacts on the back side, and especially these contacts here near where that screw goes in the corner. I put some tape down as some insulation, but then I went ahead and I take my Tulip Slick, which is real thick acrylic paint, and I cover up those open contacts. So they'll be protected in the future. So that's just what I do. It may not be necessary, but that's what I do with my builds. Now we're going to bring over that battle section part that we just assembled. Make sure you verify all your screws are installed for these reflectors, which I had left one out, so I put one in on the other side. Make sure they're all tight. That's what that looks like there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mount this underneath the battle section, and we need to route the wiring a certain way. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. 5 DP screws were installed. We have right here, right there, right there, right there, and right there. Make sure they're tight, but not overly tight where you'll strip them out because they're going into plastic. Now we need to go ahead and do a light test for these 2 LEDs that we installed. And we need to bring over the saucer section and temporarily plug them into PCB board number 3 for that. Okay, I plugged those 2 LEDs into PCB board number 3 and turned on my switch, and they all check good. Looks great. Now I'll go ahead and unplug those and we'll continue on. And back to the wire routing. I thought I'd show you how the wire is routed. Make sure none of your wires are being pinched or affected by the screws you just put in. And you can see they're just kind of bent across underneath these frames, and then they come out on these 2 sections on each side. Routing underneath on this one, underneath on that, and then they both go up to the PCB board and get plugged in. Right here and right there. And there you have it. Looks great on this side. So that's all I do with stage 79. Let's head over and get started on stage 80. Okay, here's the parts for stage 80. And I hoped the last stage helped you out a bit. And for 80, we're going to go ahead and assemble another deck panel, just like we did before. Looks good there. Mount that to the other opening we have on the saucer section. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. Alright, so for 80, here's the parts. Plus we have that other panel for the battle section. IM screws, AM screws, and FM screws. And here's our battle section. Made of plastic, looks great there. Another deck panel, which is metal. Looks good. And of course the escape pod covers and the saucer edge. Alright, now this deck panel is assembled. Assembled as before. AM screws on the back side going into metal. You can lubricate those with 3-in-1 oil if you want. The edge panel is installed with IM screws, making sure it's flush. And then of course I'm going to take my little screw cover panel, I'm going to put that aside for safekeeping. Now we'll install this on the saucer. Bring over the saucer. Here's our panel. Same thing as before, we're going to make sure it's inserted over the upper part of the panel and slide that in place. Should go in very easily here. There we go. And 2 FM screws will go into this here and there. And both screws are installed. I used a little 3-in-1 oil to help it along. Wasn't a big issue at all. Check the other side. And the other side looks good. Inserted like it should be. And that's all I do with stage 80. Let's head over and do stage 81. We're going to install some LEDs on skeleton number 2, just like we did before. It's just going to be one LED in this case, mounted down. Then we're going to go ahead and insert the AM screw here. A little bit later, make sure it's tucked under the frames. And the rest of our screws go in. The BM screws up there and some FM screws down on the bottom, along with that AM screw connecting the two together. Then we're going to go ahead and plug in our LED that we mounted to the frame number 2, over to PCB board number 3. Then we're going to work on the battle section middle panel, and we have a mounting bracket for the LEDs. The windows, I believe. And then we're going to put our LED into our reflector panel on top of those windows. Then they want us to do a light test just like we did before. We're going to go ahead and temporarily plug this into PCB board number 3 and make sure the LEDs work. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. Here's the parts for 81. Got some LEDs there. And frame number 2. AM screws, DP screws, FM screws, and BM screws. Here's our frame number 2. See how that's shaped. The 2 sets of LEDs, black and red wires, the mount for the LED, and our window and reflector. Alright, I installed the LED on that frame, and you can see this is the mounting plastic piece that holds the LED down. I had to spread the wires and kind of reverse the light a little bit so it's facing in this direction, but you can see how that looks, how it's held down. It looks secure. Now we're ready to mount this to the saucer section. Okay, so I brought over the saucer section. We're going to continue on the lower right side, and you can see the other frame kind of ends right here. So we're going to mount frame number 2 right up against it. Make sure we're going underneath where the AM screw goes down here on the bottom, and make sure all our wiring is out of the way when we mount this down. Okay, the panel is put down now, and 4 FM screws were put in down here on the bottom. Make sure they're put in all the way and they're tight. Making sure all your wiring is out of the way. We'll also put in the AM screw over here on the corner, which ties these 2 panels together. And being careful with my navigation light here on the end that's taped down there. And then the BM screws on top. Put 4 right here, and then 4 more above that. And we're all set. Our LED is there. Now we're going to take our LED that was mounted to the frame. We're going to plug that in on the PCB board. Okay, so the routing for that LED right here that we put on the frame is the wires are going to go between these 2 supports, the solid supports. Going to go through there, come out the other side, and run over to the PCB board and get plugged in right there. Now we'll go ahead and bring over the battle section that we received in this stage. We'll turn that over. We're going to install some windows here in the middle, and these are the windows right here. And you'll note that the windows have some like notches cut out. Those are so they can go up against those mount points. And you can see that. Then we'll take our reflector, and I already taped the LED to it, and reflector will go down and get screwed down with DP screws, 2 of them. Okay, 2 DP screws. Secure that down, and that's what the windows look like. Now I'll go ahead and take and plug this into the saucer section, PCB board number 3, temporarily to do a light test. Okay, I have that light socket plugged in temporarily into PCB board number 3. I'll go ahead and turn it on. There we go. Looks good. Test worked out just great. That completes stage 81. Let's head over to stage 82. Okay, let's work on the final stage for this video, stage 82. Another deck panel and some windows for the battle section there. We'll work on both the saucer and the battle section. Put in the windows like we've done before. The light blockers for the escape pod covers. And ventral phaser array, and then we'll put our windows in on the other side of the battle section. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. 82 parts. Let's get a closer look. AM, DP screws, another panel here made of metal. More windows for the battle section. Life raft covers, or escape pod covers. The phaser array. And more windows for the panel. And the blockers for the escape pod covers. Okay, so I assembled this deck panel. Got the escape pod covers put in. The windows themselves. And the phaser array. If you look on the back side, we have the blackout pieces, and those were put down with AM screws. And then of course the window reflector itself was put down with AM screw also. And then the phaser array was installed with 2 DP screws. So that's completed there. And then we bring over the battle section and we just insert the clear window piece for that, and that's what that looks like there. So that completes our final stage for this video, stage 82. I'll be right back. And there you go, that completes pack 21. Relatively easy, and as I go along with this build, everything seems to get easier and easier. I hope my videos help you out, shows you where the wiring goes and just how everything goes together. So we have the battle section here, getting ready to get that completed here real soon, and we are working again on the lower panels on the saucer, so that's fantastic there. So if you haven't done so already, head over to FanHome and see if this is available and subscribe to it today. I'll put a direct link down below if it's available. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this. Please give me some feedback. Anything that you may have or any questions you may have for this build so far. Remember, I am creating a playlist for this which has all the stages and all the packs. Follow along in that playlist. Also down below you can click through each stage. I have links for each stages, so it makes it simple there too for you. So with that, happy modeling everybody, and take care.